Hello everyone. This video is a little different than what I would normally be doing. It's not scripted, it's not heavily edited, there's nothing like that. It's not particularly flashy, but it's more just meant for me to talk to you guys and for us to kind of discuss something that's going on in the industry right now. As you've probably noticed, comments are disabled down below. I'll get to why that is in a second. But if you have any thoughts on this topic and want me to hear them, feel free to reach out, tweet me at Luke Stevens TV or on Instagram, any of those other sources, links in the description. That being said, a lot of people have asked me to talk about the recent leaks coming out of Naughty Dog and surrounding The Last of Us Part 2. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. In fact, that's why comments are disabled, because I want to avoid other people even going into the comment section and spoiling it for viewers like you who might just be passively reading comments as you watch the video, which I know a lot of people do. I do it myself with a lot of content. So to avoid that, I've just disabled comments, outright, and that's going to tank this video's performance. YouTube penalizes videos that don't have comments enabled, but I think it's a worthy sacrifice to make, because there are people that are going into comment sections on videos such as these and trying to ruin the game for other people. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll already know this, but I have a business email account and I use it for contacting potential sponsors, for interacting with big publishing companies, for review codes, for arranging like preview events where they fly me out somewhere to play the game early, things like that. And I get a few emails there every day, and occasionally a fan will find that email handle and they'll write me a sort of a letter in that account, in that inbox. And I always read them. I'm not able to always respond to all of them, but I do really read every single one of those posts that I get. And this particular one that I got yesterday was very caring. It was very intriguing. And as I read through the first paragraph, I was really intrigued. It was kind of par for the course. It was, I was struggling emotionally. My family life was bad, blah, blah, blah. And then I found your videos, and your videos helped pull me out of that. It's very sweet and endearing. And of course, whenever I see a message like that, I want to give it the time of day, finish it, and really get a grasp and appreciate what this person's been through, and the fact that I was able to have some impact on their life. It's very meaningful to me, and hopefully it is to the person that sends the message. But regardless, I was reading through it, and embedded within the message, after the first paragraph, in the second one, they had spoilers for the Last of Us Part 2. And it was one of those things where you're reading through it and you read the spoiler before you even realize that it was a spoiler, because it was buried within this other thing. It would be like, to use a Star Wars example from decades and decades ago, don't worry, nothing on the new movies, but to use a decades old Star Wars example, it would be like if in the email it said, "Your videos mean a lot to me. My mother was sick and Darth Vader's Luke's father." And then they carry on like it was nothing. On the one hand, I was kind of impressed for a second that they were able to get me, because I had stopped reading Twitter replies. I had stopped going through my Twitter inbox, which already has been difficult to do in the last few months. You guys are incredible, and you send me a lot of amazing messages on Discord, on Twitter, in emails and Instagram messages, all of that. And I'm very thankful for that. But it's gotten to the point where I really struggle getting through all of them and replying to everything. It's definitely an uphill battle. But in the last day or two, I stopped reading through those because I didn't want anything spoiled. So the fact that this person was able to spoil it for me was frankly kind of impressive. And then further down in the email, I did a quick double take, and then I scrolled down to try to get off of it, and accidentally scrolled all the way down to the bottom of the email, where they had embedded within the body of the email pictures and screenshots of footage that verified what this spoiler happened to be. And so either it was the world's most elaborate prank and fake leak, or what's more likely, it actually is a spoiler, and this person masterfully, seemingly ruined the story for The Last of Us Part 2 for me. And it's upsetting, because it's quite cruel. It's my excitement for a project or for a story or for, like, it could even be something like a book. I just got all of these in today, by the way, the box set. I'm very excited. Thank you to everybody on Twitter who's helping me pick which editions to order. But it'd be like a book. If you're really excited for a book, my excitement for the book, for the story, has no bearing on you. It doesn't impact your life. Usually people are just excited. They're like, good for you for being excited. I'm glad you have something you're pumped for. The people like the individual who sent me that email, they see that excitement and they want to squash it. They want to destroy it. And it's bizarre because it has no bearing on them. But seeing it quashed gives them joy. It fulfills them. And they get pleasure out of it, which is at the outset, like, it's actually a biological and chemical imbalance. That's something that is in the DSM-5, like, it's a verified mental disorder to get pleasure out of other people's pain. It's not just Schadenfreude, it's an actual disorder. So on the one hand, I feel sympathy for people if they have to feel pleasure from seeing other people suffer, because that's a rough existence as far as I'm concerned. But I think you have to end the sympathy at that point, because these are people that are trying to upset others, trying to ruin their day, ruin their week, ruin this game that they've been looking forward to for 7 years, trying to ruin that for them just because it's going to give them a good laugh. And I think that that's very, very cruel. I think it's frankly pretty disgusting. And I don't want other people to experience that, which is why comments are disabled on this video. I want to try to shelter you guys. They just announced that there's a new release date for The Last of Us Part 2 and for Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm glad to hear. I'm pulling up my Twitter right now because I want to make sure I get the date right. June 19th is the new release date for The Last of Us Part 2. And I don't know about you, but going on from now, here on out, I'm not going to be reading any Last of Us Part 2 subreddits, articles, posts, watching any videos about it, because in those comment sections, inevitably there's going to be people trying to spoil it. I'm going to go into basically a Last of Us quarantine until the game launches to try and experience it for what it is. And I know for a lot of you guys, you've potentially had the story spoiled too. And I think even though I've used the term the story's ruined for me earlier in this video, I don't think that has to be the case. I don't think it has to ruin it for you, because stories are about the journey as far as I'm concerned. It's about the arc, the emotions, everything that leads a character from one destination to the next. I don't think you have to be completely ignorant of the story beats in order to truly experience the story on the whole. I think it certainly helps to be ignorant of the plot points. You know, if you're reading something like the Bible for the first time ever and you have no idea that Jesus dies and then comes back to life, like, that big reveal that he comes back is probably pretty mind-blowing when you first read it, assuming you've never heard the story before or anything. So I think being ignorant of the plot points can definitely help, but I don't think it's necessary to still get something from the story to still appreciate it. I hope that The Last of Us Part 2 is mind-blowing, is fantastic. I hope the story's well done. I hope it's well written. I do have reservations about the story, about Naughty Dog in general. There's been stories about their development process. Neil Druckmann is somebody who I think I would disagree with on a personal level on a lot of different things. That doesn't mean, however, that his art and the things that he puts forward aren't phenomenal. They are. But this is his first game where he is the head of the studio, managing gameplay and narrative. In Uncharted 4, he had Bruce Straley with him, managing all the gameplay stuff. So this is the first time he's been at the helm, and I think he's got a lot to prove, and I hope he proves it. I hope the game is phenomenal and lives up to the hype. But I do have reasons to be a little skeptical. But I hope that it's phenomenal and fantastic. But I guess my closing words on this is I'm not going to be making any more Last of Us videos leading up to the launch of the game. I had some scheduled, I had some scripts that I was working on. I've scrapped all those, set them aside. I can put them into the critique for the big game when it eventually launches in June. But as of right now, from here on out, I'm not going to be addressing it on this channel because I want to try and protect you guys from spoilers. Plus, I don't think there's anything more to really be discussed unless something crazy happens again. And if something does happen, or if I need to make another video on it, I plan on making those comment sections completely wiped clean because I don't want people to have it spoiled and ruined for them. And it's too bad that we have to be this careful to have to avoid something being ruined for us. It's really too bad. But just because it was potentially spoiled for me, I don't think it's ruined necessarily. Hopefully the story is more than just a couple plot points and a couple beats and narrative points. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. But there are a lot of really exciting stories still to experience this year. It's an exciting time to be a gamer. With the launch of the new consoles, with the launch of all of these fantastic games. And you better believe we're going to be seeing some stuff in the coming months about PlayStation 5, about Xbox Series X, about what all of these big studios have been working on for the last few years for launch titles. It's a great time to be a gamer. So just because some terrible, horrific people, just the garbage of the earth, just because they're trying to ruin something for you, don't let them ruin it. Revel in the insanity that is the gaming industry. Enjoy the game when it comes out, even if you do know a little bit of what goes on. And just remember what's really important, and that's that we're all still here, we're having a great time, and we have this one thing in common that's really cool, and that's getting better and better every year. So that's all I've got to say. Hopefully this wasn't totally incoherent. I love you all more than you could possibly know. Truly, I appreciate it. Again, let me know all of your thoughts on Twitter at Luke Stevens TV. You can get me directly there, and I look forward to hearing from you. I have some cool videos coming out very soon, and a critique on the Uncharted series is going to be beginning very soon with the first game, and then I have some other video essays and things that I have coming as well that I think you'll like. But all told, thank you for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video.